So it's Halloween, and if you have little ones or even big little ones, doesn't matter, you're looking for different snacks and cool stuff to do. Here's a couple that I saw online and I thought I'd give them a try. They look really cool. At least I thought so. Boo! Mummy hot dogs and mummy meatballs. Doesn't that sound great? So the first thing we're going to do is cook the meatballs. I had a leftover package of meatballs, so that's all we had left. Not really enough for a huge meal, but enough to make these meatballs. So with it, I'm going to throw in a can of cream of mushroom soup. If you don't want cream of mushroom, throw in cream of chicken, throw in cream of broccoli, throw in any kind of cream soup you really want. You can also use barbecue sauce instead. That's what I go to. So we're going to take this, get it all out of the can, spread it around all those meatballs. I'll give it a little extra flavor. And the only other ingredient I'm going to throw into this is Worcestershire sauce. Why not? We put in maybe about a teaspoonful, however that much looks. We're not going to put it on for slow because I'd like to get it done today. So I put it on for a 3-hour cook. They smelled good. And we're not going to use all this because I'm going to make a dinner out of it. But enough to show you how to make the mummy meatballs. So I took a 6-pack of them out of the cooker. And we're going to let them cool because I really don't want to burn my fingers while I'm playing around with them. So we'll let them cool down for half an hour or whatever while I get the other stuff ready to roll. Well, you need a pan. So here's my cookie sheet, and we're going to throw some parchment paper on it, set it aside. Now we need some crescent rolls because that's kind of the key to making the mummies. I got another baking sheet, spread out the crescent rolls, and I took my trusty pizza cutter and tried to guess at how long the strip should be. I mean, I've never really made a mummy before, so I wasn't really sure. I didn't want them too thick, didn't want them too thin. As it turns out, since I wasn't very consistent, I think it kind of looked cool by the time I was done. Now, here's my first attempt at wrapping a meatball. I've never done this before, so bear with me as I try and figure it out. The one thing you do have to remember is you need to leave room for eyeballs. And that'll come into play after we've baked the meatballs and hot dogs. So the wrapping seems to be going well. It kind of looks like a mummy, so I'm thinking once it bakes, it's gonna still look like a mummy. And once that's done, I did all 6. I'm going to do 6 hot dogs. Now hot dogs are already kind of pre-cooked, so I didn't do it ahead of time. I didn't think I needed to. I'm just taking them right out of the package. And I'm thinking they must be a little easier to wrap. It turns out, yeah, they are and they're not. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that I've got an eyeball for them. It proved to be a little tricky, but not horrible. And then, of course, winding up the wrapping so it does look like a mummy, and as you can see, I broke it off. Okay, so bear with me. You know what? If it breaks off, hey, mummy's got lots of linens trailing from them, so the wraps don't have to be perfect by any stretch, and if anything, they can be varying sizes. There, see, I just broke off another piece. But at the end of the day, it'll kind of look cool. At least I think so. So I tried to line them up as I was laying them to see okay, that's what they look like. So I tried to lay them on the pan so that when they baked, the eyeballs were looking up. I think I pretty well did that. So there's my meatballs and my hot dogs, and I had some crescent rolls left over, so I thought I might as well bake them and we can munch on those too. So these are going to go in the oven, 425 for 8 to 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. Don't let them burn. And when they're done, look at this. They look pretty cool. Well, cool, and you got to let them cool down just a little bit. But once they're cool enough to handle, 5 minutes or so, I took some mustard in a bowl and a toothpick, and I very carefully made 2 eyeballs. Now, if you don't like mustard, you can use barbecue sauce, mayo, just about anything really that you think will work. But I use mustard, and you can't really taste it because there's so little on it, but the eyeballs do look cool. So here we are lining them up on the tray, and we're going to get to our hot dogs and do the exact same thing we did with the mummies. The tricky part is trying to figure out where their eyes were supposed to be, because even though I kind of line them up that way, once it bakes, you know how they puff up, sometimes you kind of lose your place. Well, the hot dogs were the same thing. You could see I made just enough room, make a little extra room. You don't think you need it, but you kind of do, to figure out where their eyes are supposed to go. The toothpick worked out really nice. It was easy-ish to work with. And there they are, my hot dog mummies and my meatball mummies. I thought they looked pretty cool. The last thing we're going to do is pumpkin seeds. So the first thing, of course, you need to do is to have a willing participant get all the guts out of your pumpkin. Once that's done, we're going to pick out a bunch of the seeds, and the guts and whatever seeds we've got left over, I'm going to use that for decorating my pumpkin, which you'll see later. So we'll put the seeds in a strainer and run them under the tap to kind of clean them off, to get all the goo off as best we can. Only takes a second. And once we're done that, we are going to put it into a pan. I only did a little bit of seeds, mostly for illustrative purposes. I took a pie tin and kind of greased it up a little bit. Now we're going to take our seeds and pick out the remaining pumpkin guts, and we're going to put this in an oven at 425, just because I kept them in a little too long. About 10 to 12 minutes is plenty. That's what they look like after 15. They were still good. We put a little bit of seasoning salt on them just to make them look good, give them a little mix. And of course the last thing is to bag them up for people that want to snack on them. That's where Ziploc comes in. That's all we did, was dump it from the pan and into a Ziploc, and there you go, a nice Halloween treat, roasted pumpkin seeds. So there you have it. A couple things kind of quick and easy to do with and for the kids. I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it. Mine always do. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, leave me a like below. Comment always helps. Subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell, and that'll tell you every time I upload a video, usually on Thursdays. And as always, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.